now we're coming to North Bridge. This linked the old town with the new town and was built in the 1790s. The old town is very old. Habitation started up at the castle. Over to our right there, you can just about see it now. And habitation has been going on there since 3,000 years. So it's a very old city. That was the beginnings, of course, of the city up that way. And this building coming up, which is sticking out into the street a bit, that is John Knox's house, and next to it, with the dormer going up really up to the angle to it, is Mowbray House. And Mowbray House is also one of the oldest buildings in Edinburgh. Both of them vie with one another as to which one really is the eldest of the two. And you can see the stairs going up. Now the people lived in the floors above, and that was the access to it, the fourth stair as it's known, and then the shops were down below.
This is his house right here, Pops?
So these two here. City gates used to be. This was the Netherbow. And beyond that was the outside world. And for that reason, the pub on the right hand side is called the World's End. Because the poorer people could get out of the city, but you couldn't get back in. You had to pay a tax. And so for them it was the World's End. And you would come down to the city gates, have a wee drink and see what the rest of the world looked like, and then walk back to wherever you had come from in the city. Now as we come by, you might see on the left hand side some brass pieces, and on the right hand side some brass pieces in the street. This is where the portal was, and then it's been enhanced at the top. And the wall used to go around the corner there and up the way. And because the medieval city was bounded by its wall, the only way the city could grow was upwards and upwards and upwards, till eventually Edinburgh had really high buildings for that period. And a 4-year-old lass, and she was then kept in Stirling Castle, which is very safe. And then her mother, Mary de Guise, decided that actually she didn't think Scotland was a safe place for her daughter. And so she had her child sent across to France and grew up from the age of 6 in the French court, learning all about French customs and so on. And her mother thought she was doing her a good turn, but actually it came back really to haunt her that she didn't understand the politics, she didn't understand the culture, she didn't understand the mentality of her home country. She came back when she was 19, after she had already been widowed, because she had married at the age of we come then to daughter?
Oh yes, hi.
Hi.
My name is Erilyn, and I grew up in Oregon, and now we live out in California, just as my dad said. And I'm just interested in learning more about the history of Scotland, of course, particularly Mary Queen of Scots and William Wallace.
A series of Attica, Avalonia and Laurentia to form one supercontinent known as Pangaea. And in the forming of this supercontinent, all the sediments of the sea floor, which had turned into rocks, got squeezed and metamorphosed and got pushed up. Very interesting. It's where the Romans built their wall. That is the junction between, you could say, Europe and North America, Scotland and England. Because as you probably realised, Scotland at the same time, not just the Highlands of Scotland, but the mountains of Scandinavia, the mountains of eastern Greenland, mountains of eastern Canada, Allegheny Mountains and the Appalachians, all the same mountain chain during the time of Pangaea, that supercontinent. And this geology of the country has really fashioned this ocean, which was enormous. It was 4,000 kilometers wide, or 2,500 miles. So it's a lightly metamorphosed stone. And this town was founded by David I in the early 1100s, and this was the marketplace. This was the most important part of the town. It was all about creating for David, the king, places in these wild borderlands where civilization, as he saw it, would be established. And this is the old town house on the right hand side. Look at the bars on the window. That's where they kept the prisoners. The bakers, the butchers, who were cheating at market. And then they would be put into the pillory or the thumbscrew. Pay the price. And if you'd been gossiping, do you know what the punishment was? That's right, a big iron on your tongue, blocking you. And he would always stop at one spot, overlooking those fairy hills of Tamas the Rhymer. Tamas the Rhymer must have been a great inspiration for him, because he was another literary man and had been to the realm of fairy, the land of imagination. And whenever he came to what is now known as Scott's View, he would get his horse to stop. And he had a number of different horses. He would ride them different days and always get them to stop to look out over the fairy hills, the Eildon Hills, and muse and think about the stories that he was writing. And then when his funeral cortege was coming along here to take him to his last resting place at Melrose Abbey, hundreds of people were coming behind, and his horses were pulling the funeral cortege. Those are the fairy hills over there. The Romans called them Tremontia. We call them the Eildon Hills. The fairy hills. And imagine Walter Scott riding here on his horse, looking out over this beautiful view, thinking about some of the great heroes, maybe even thinking of Tamas the Rhymer. He was probably thinking that wish that he could go to fairyland, because he was very burdened, was Walter Scott. And then he would always stop here where I'm going to pull in. When the
You've got a nice day for it, Ernie.
Aye, it's grand.
Yeah.
It's a lovely place to come to, isn't it?
It is, yeah, yeah.
You come up this way often?
My sister lives in Melrose, but
Aye.
to be honest, we come to visit her and we're eating grains. We used to be Edinburgh.
Aye.
So we just decided to have a day out. I've got my camera with me and go
Are
round
you
and
far
see
to travel
Edinburgh.
yourself?
No, we just come down from Edinburgh and we're going along here, then up to Willie Wallace, and then
No.
Cobblestone.
oh yes, yeah.
Another wonderful thing about Wallace was lithographic stones with beautiful images on them.
Along this way.
It's not all about you. It's not all about you, Roland.
I thought it was.
Yeah, and her great-grandfather was the last Apache chief.
Oh my goodness.
He never surrendered.
Oh,
That's a claim to fame.
really?
America, well, Mexico itself has bloody a history as Scotland.
Yeah,
With
absolutely.
the conquistadors.
Conquistadors, yeah.
So did you meet your wife in Scotland, or were you in another?
Yes. She was out and about on a tour, and she was travelling in the back of the vehicle.
Oh,
Yeah.
She's American?
Yeah.
well, Douglas the first time. I'm sure he was in Oregon, but that's such an early age. John Muir.
Yeah.
He's from Edinburgh too.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Forgot about that.
is that one you just said?
Grandfather was very important. Yeah, his grandfather was his grandfather who really opened his heart. It's an eclectic mix of various different historical periods and styles. And if you look at him, he looks, look at his helmet, reminds you of something Viking, yeah?
Uh-huh.
You look at his shield, it's Celtic, but it's got the St Andrew's cross on it, which is later. You look at his tunic, is it a back to front kilt, or is it a centurion's garment? Yeah?
Yeah.
It's everything.
Yeah.
And then look at that sword he's got, completely ridiculously big. I have been a medieval battle reenactor, and you would never have a sword that size at all. Completely unmanageable. And so that's a late medieval style of sword, 1400s, where you'd have the double-handed sword. You'd only have a double-handed sword when you had plate armour over your whole body, so you didn't need a shield. So even your whole body was shielded. And then you've got a Jacobite sword. So you've got 1400s, 1700s, Roman, Viking, Celtic, all put together. And somehow or other, when you look at him, you think, wow, you know, it works somehow or other.
It works.
Sorry, I missed this year. What year was this book?
This was in the early 1800s, about 1822, I think. Is just in that wee village which we came to, Beamerside. And Thomas the Rhymer actually prophesied that the Hays will always be a Beamerside. Well, I don't know.
Selfie.
Historically or artistically.
So where do you believe is the finest sculpture of William Wallace in Scotland, or in England?
One of the best is in Aberdeen. God's eaten. Now they have this catch and release policy because of the overfishing that was going on in the last few decades. It's been in place now for about 20 years.
Where's the ball coming from?
He walked all the way.
I heard something, but I forgot it was here. How do we get in, guys?
Looks like an entrance, maybe down there. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? It's partly ruined, but still a lot is left.
Carol, where are those structures on the side of the roof right there? Those structures on the side of the roof over there. Yeah, good.
Good one, Erla.
Flying.
Gee.
Flying buttresses.
I love it when they carry their little
Oh.
ball.
Sorry, Elsa. That's more important. Why is he looking at the cars in the parking lot? It's over here. You know, if you were doing that one, it's is he waiting for the guy? I don't know. If he were to do that, he could not. You guys live here? Would we? Yeah. Yeah, what about Washington Square? Where are we going? No, he said we get some help.
Got
I
some.
don't see any markings for the heart, though. The nullified heart. That was the group. You hear rock art?
Yep.
Oh, Ralph, you're ruining my picture. Yeah. God, that was me taking a picture and trying to take it.
Wow, it's all about Garth.
I know, wow. Wait, it's better to have the whole. Yeah. Let's get a close up of that beauty.
Mom has become a new lurker.
Good.
Oh, do you want yours, Ron?
Huh?
Want yours, Ron?
Yes, please.
Because you'll never get it.
He's a dumb purse, though.
Dumb person?
I'm gonna settle.
Mom has become a new lurker.
What?
The face of the new lurker.
Down.
Chin down, head up.
Chin
Chins down.
Chins down. Rolls in. Stomach rolls in.
That's good for the boot.
Double chins in. Down.
Chins down, rolls up.
Our friend's gonna point.
Okay.
Always tells me to point. Garth,
Are you serious? Yeah, I don't know if I want to show that leg.
that ham hock. Oh boy.
Oh no, Garth. Yeah, why don't you guys both?
Can we move on? Can we move on?